Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in to GNG LinkedIn Live segment. Gail and I actually decided that we're going to talk about mental health, given the situation COVID-19. We've heard it so many times, and even on the news, I was hearing that a lot of us now have to pay attention to mental health a lot more because the situation is stressful for many people. A lot of changes have happened over the last 3 weeks. I believe we're going on our fourth week of shutdown, lockdown, staying at home. Some people, I was hearing the radio show yesterday that some people are going crazy with their families, seeing them and 24/7 and getting irritated. So we decided that we'll do a whole segment today on mental health because it's important. So we're going to kick off today's session. And once again, I'm going to allow Gil to go first. And let's open up the discussions about mental health. Just before I let Gil start, I just want to cover something because I've noticed something on when we're streaming live. A lot of the comments actually are not coming through, and I think it has to do with the load that's being put on, I guess, on StreamYard or internet and LinkedIn. I think there's a lot more people active, and I've been noticing it for a few days now. The comments don't come in until I actually go into once the live is done. So still bear with us. Even if we don't see your comments, we still try to get back to the comments after the live. So if you have a question to ask us or a suggestion, just type it in the comments. We will get back. We will definitely get back to you. Thank you. So Gil, let's start with mental health.
Okay, so thanks, Harpreet. For me, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. This is something I've dealt with my whole life in terms of social anxiety, and more recently over the last decade with generalized anxiety and some PTSD. So this is something that's always been really important to me. And one of the things was that I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine who helped me through a lot of my anxious moments. We were talking about how those of us who have dealt with mental health issues before are at a bit of an advantage right now because we have the tools to deal with what everybody else is struggling with for the first time. So there are many people who are struggling with potential mental health issues because they have a lot of their routine taken away from them. Mental health loves a routine, loves consistency. And so people have had their routine taken away from them, the things that keep their mental health balanced, whether it be exercise or whether it be meditation, whether it be their friendships that they have their ways in normal times that they keep their mental health stable and balanced. But right now, that routine is out of whack for so many people, and compounded by the fact that there is one news story right now. And that news story is health related and fear driven because of the reality of what we're facing. So we don't have the respite of the sports activity. You know, I like basketball. I don't have that to distract me from the news. So the reality is that someone like me who's built up all of these tools over the years is at a bit of an advantage because I understand a bit of what my body's going through more than people who have been lucky enough to have stable mental health and solid mental health for their whole lives are right now starting to face issues that they don't know how to deal with. Because the reality is this is a stress-inducing situation. This is an anxiety-inducing situation, and genuinely so, because there is a very real health component involved in this and a lot of uncertainty involved in this. And so now is the time that if you find yourself feeling that uncertainty, feeling that anxiety or irregular amount of worry, to talk to somebody about it, a friend, a family member. I'm sure mental health professionals are overwhelmed right now and likely will be for the indefinite future. But just talking to somebody about it, because you'll never know who else has gone through it. You'll never know what somebody else has dealt with, because this is a time that's creating anxiety for all of us. It really is.
I had anxiety, but last week I was good. I think the second week in, first week I was laughing. Um, that's how I deal with sometimes with situations.
Mm-hmm.
Second week I had anxiety. Third week, which was last week, I was okay. But I was reading someone's post, COVID-19 stages, and it's like a grieving stage, right? The first
Absolutely.
is, I forget what the first stage is, but it's like denial. First stage is
Mm-hmm.
denial. Second is angry and fear or anxiety. It's like, and then third, you kind of start to a little bit get used to it. Um, and and then I don't know what the last stage is, but for me, I'm gonna just talk about me right now.
Mm-hmm.
First, it's just it seems unreal, right? Like so denial. It just seems unnatural, unreal. This really happening, right? Until you go outside and it's like, oh yeah, this is really happening. When you go to the grocery stores and you have to stand in line, or they allow you one by one kind of thing. You have to wear masks. Yeah. Um, it's funny because I was listening to this radio show yesterday. I went to grab something to eat, drive through, and I had this radio 640. I like listening to 640. But something they were talking about was something I was actually thinking the future. So we also have anxiety just thinking about the future. So I'm a little bit calm now, but I still think about what's going to happen when we come out of this, right? When this COVID-19 ends, are we going to be okay shaking people's hands again? Like that thinking, right? Like I think about this, and that's what the topic they were discussing a little bit was that, yeah, like when this ends, are we going to be normal again? Like, can we go back to being who we were before COVID-19? Would we be okay? I think about this too. Would I be okay shaking someone's hand? I don't know. I don't know.
Going to a concert?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there are certain things, and my belief is that the longer this goes on, the deeper societal and cultural change it will be.
Yeah,
I
and
believe that if this had lasted a week, we would have kind of remembered it as a funny, interesting memory. Whereas this has now gone on, where this is the fourth week and with no end in sight. Whereas certain more real shifts are starting to happen. A week wasn't going to make a lasting societal shift.
no.
But the more things change economically, socially, culturally, over time, the longer we're in it, the deeper the change will be. Because will we go to something other than the handshake? It's an antiquated system anyway, going back to, looking for each other's swords. So it's what are the things that are going to change? I think has to do with how long we go through this. If we come out of this in a month and it magically disappears, it will be one thing. If we're still hunkered down 6 months from now, we'll be seeing deep and lasting changes.
I was hearing the other day, I think it was Doug Ford's conference, news conference, or someone, actually the doctor's one, they were saying that it can last anywhere from 18 to 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
But the lockdown, they don't know, right? So we're already on a lockdown. They're making it more strict guidelines. So definitely until May. And that's the other thing. I think maybe now the reality is actually kicking in for a lot of people, that we don't know how long this is going to take the time window, right? Like we thought it was 2 weeks, but now it's longer. I think now we're really gonna see more anxiety kicking in because the weather's getting better. Even yesterday when I just drove by to go get food, I saw people walking with masks on,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "What?" I go out. I have two dogs. I take them for a walk. I don't wear masks, but I think the more you're right, the more we're in this, longer the impact and effects could be for some people very deeply, and for some people maybe not, and some are going crazy sitting at home. One of my friends was telling me that her coworker, they were all going crazy, like they have kids and everybody at home, so they just packed everybody into a car and just drove. So I know some people are doing that. I was having virtual coffees, a meeting, and a lot of people are talking about this. And the tips I give people is stuff that I try to implement for myself. Again, I'm not an expert in this, but somebody who's gone through a lot in life and lost my dad in 2018, you learn, like as you said, people who've gone through it kind of have some mechanisms put in place. I think it's all about the mind shift. Um, there might be things, there's a lot of things we can't do, but there's also a lot of things we possibly can do. And you just have to look at what can you do. I'm not saying it's
Absolutely.
an easy process. I'm a homebody, and when this lockdown came out, the joke in my family was, and me too. I'm like, it's not changing my life. I work from home. I'm a homebody. You literally have to drag me out. I love something like sitting outside, walks and stuff like that. But going and doing stuff, I don't know. Maybe I got too used to it. And my cousin,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I joked with my wife. There was actually a meme I saw early on in this process. I think it was from Twitter, where it was when you find out your normal lifestyle is called quarantine.
yeah. So I'm realizing my friend, she lives close to me. So I do a lot of reference, if nobody noticed, about my friend. She lives right close to me. We talk regular basis, and she's also in HR. So I guess that's probably why we talk so much too right now. Um, is that for some people, their lives hasn't changed in one aspect, but for many people who are like being outside, they don't like sitting at home. It's hard. It's hard for those people.
And the reality is that what we've talked about so far are the specifically COVID implications of the health factors, the having to stay home. But then there's also the other implications around financial, around the fact that certainly our governments are trying to do whatever they can in helping out. And I know we've discussed this, and it's a great thing, but it's still not going to necessarily be paying people what they were going to be paid before. It will make so right now there's greater stress, which also induces further mental health complications and anxiety complications and depression, because there's concerns, there's risk involved that wasn't there recently. And so there's a lot that people are thinking about right now, which is why I really liked, your point about, doing something, taking positive action. That for me is such a key point in all of this, is and that means different things for different people, what positive action is. You are an amazing role model when it comes to positive action right now. And you're on LinkedIn Live, I think 24 hours a day, 8 days a week, trying to help anybody any way you can. And my hat goes off to you if I were wearing one, because that's what makes a difference right now, and that's good for you and it's good for others, because it's keeping your focus on what you can do on your own locus of control. And
That's what I think everyone should be doing, right? Like, I'm wired like that from day one. Like I'm not gonna say it's something, like, oh my God, I'm working on. No, I've just been like that. Like, in a situation comes, I look for solutions. I look, okay, what can we do to help make it better? And
mm,
that's how I've been. So I think, like, when people messaging and saying, where'd you get your drive, where you get your motivation, it's like, my answer is always, well, I don't know, I'm doing something I like, right? Like, this is not something new to me. I like looking for solutions, and that's what I think all of us can do, instead of looking at, we don't know how long this is going to be. That's the truth, right? We don't know. Instead of thinking about the future, anxiety, like, I get anxiety, and my anxiety started stemming 1 month prior to my dad's death.
mhm.
I didn't have anxiety before that. Maybe because I knew my dad was dying. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna go into what caused it, but it was there.
Mhm.
And then eventually, obviously, it started stemming more and more as he passed away. And one thing I realized, like, so I when I'm dealing with something, I do research, be personal or professional. I do a lot of research. So everyone can do research right now. If you're dealing with, if you're going crazy sitting at home, Google and find something to do. What can you do at home? There's so many content now on
Just
what.
not WebMD. Don't go through WebMD.
There's so
Whatever you do for your own mental health, don't. Google's great, and I agree with you on the research, but I just want to interject there. Not those doctor sites.
No, I meant Google what to do while.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I was thinking from
Yeah,
the mindset of what somebody's thinking
yeah.
right now of,
There's a lot of things happening online, right? So we're also going through a transition phase where everything's going digital, right? A lot of let's talk about fitness, for example. Gyms are closed, or you can't go to your local. Like someone was saying, they love working out. And so I'm like, okay, but go online, because you know what? A lot of gyms and a lot of your personal trainers and stuff are doing online training, right? Go live, they do a workout, you can join them. Another person, on my virtual coffee on the weekend, was telling me how, the small spaces, and a lot of us, let's face it, if you live in the city, a lot of us have smaller spaces because the cost of living to live in a city like Toronto is expensive. So some people have bachelor pads or one bedroom. I'm living in condos. So this person I was speaking with said he doesn't know how to differentiate his wine time, like down whining after work, so downtime, because he's in the same space. And I was like, okay, I don't have the answer, but let's brainstorm and let's see if we can figure it out together. So in the end, what we figured out was he had a couch. So he showed me his bachelor pad kind of thing, the space. So I'm like, why don't you use your couch as your downtime? And that's where you will sit to read your book or something, right? And he's like, okay, you know what? So we started brainstorming, and then he got some ideas, and he's going to rearrange his bachelor pad and just change things around. So he has like a bachelor pad, but a condo. So I think brainstorm with somebody. If you don't know what to do, brainstorm. Another great thing to do is, I'm seeing a lot of people are doing this anyways, Zoom calls or Zoom meetings, Zoom birthday parties. Me and my sister did that. We turned 40, so we still wanted to, well, she lives in a different country, so we end up just last minute hop on with her kids, my best friend and her kids. Actually, my best friend kids went there, and we did a Zoom call. I'm not saying it's easy, but we have to start somewhere to make a choice. I know people, the other thing is hats off to parents. I don't know, I can't imagine, like juggling kids, schooling, and now the schools went online. So I was thinking of this, schools that went online. What if a parent can't afford a laptop? So what is that student gonna do?
Yeah, no, it's interesting because that's something we might want to talk about at another time, is what this is highlighting in terms of societal imbalance. That there are a lot of people who don't have the internet capable of doing that, or don't have the laptops or any kind of computer, or whatever it is, to be able to get online for those things. So yeah, no, it's something maybe we want to highlight later on. And so for me, I'm listening to what you're saying. You're talking about, brainstorming and Zoom calls, and I think that is such an important thing you're talking about, because right now, for all of our mental health, we need to find the right balance of human interaction, because we're not having the same level of human interaction that we once did. And introverts, many of them, are very excited about that. And they're very excited about the time that they get to be away from people. But then extroverts and other people who thrive on that type of social interaction and build energy from having a conversation like the one you and I are having, it's important that you take care of yourself and you recognize that, because mental health comes to different people in different forms, and people care for it and balance it in different ways. So for some people, it is being able to have that social interaction. For some people, it's exercise, right? A lot of people are struggling right now because they're used to going to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, and now they don't have that same amount of equipment, or they don't have the same kind of area. You mentioned space issues. I saw this one picture a person posted of a yoga mat in the middle of their washroom because that was the most amount of space they had for it in their area. But they were still dedicated to doing it, and they were still doing it. But hey, strange times call for strange measures, and they were putting that yoga mat in the washroom because they knew it was something they needed to do. They needed to adjust.
Speaking about working out, this is the great time for everyone to either follow your gym or follow different trainers, because a lot of the trainers, 95% of trainers are doing workouts for home with no equipment, because they understand not everyone has equipment, so they're using your body weight. And some may not be used to that, but it's still workout. So there's another form of I think, again, you just have to look for solutions. So I think we have a choice, and I'm not saying this is easy, because one thing I want to highlight is we can talk about mental health, but we also have to. One thing I always see is people fail to actually tell people how to take steps, and okay, make a routine. But if you don't have I remember when my dad died, yeah, I didn't want to do anything. And then no matter how many grief articles I read, they all say make a schedule, do this, but you still need something to push you to do it. And at that moment, I didn't do nothing. I think I spent a couple of months doing nothing, like legitimately nothing. I didn't want to.
How did you find your way out of it? How did you
Slowly.
find your way to those first steps?
So this is what I did. I allowed myself to feel. I gave myself time. So if I want to feel something, I think the first month or 2 months, dad died in September, October, November. Okay, so September, October, so like 2, 3 months, 2, 3 months at least. I couldn't go somewhere without feeling anxiety. So what I did was I binge watched a lot of TV, happy shows. So I watched stuff like that. And then eventually we moved because me and my brother want to take our mom together. So we moved in together. So we got a new place. Happens to be, I'm a very spiritual person. Like I believe I'm spiritual. I don't want to say I'm religious, but spiritually, I have that in me. So we moved right in front of our Sikh temple. And the good thing about, one of the good things I really like about my religion is it's very heavily spirituality, like meditation. So our temples have meditations program.
Okay.
So I started going. It was across the street. I have no excuse.
Amazing.
Right? So I was like, you know what? It's right there. I'm gonna go. So I thought that was something I did. I think it was probably the best thing I did for myself. And I started going every day. It was a fixed time. I went. I didn't. If I missed it, I missed it. But I just told myself I'm gonna do it. So slowly, they would say baby steps. Don't try to do a bunch of things all at once. Even now, like some people are juggling, children, cooking, husband, wife. Everybody's in one space. You're in each other's faces 24/7. That's what I heard on the radio show yesterday. And I don't have that problem because me and my brother, we work from home, and my mom's doesn't work, right? So we actually have our corners when you need your me time, you go to your rooms. Or you pick a corner in the house. Like I like sitting outside when the weather is good, right? So it's dual into a situation and just feeling stressed out. I'm this is too much. But instead, take a pause and ask yourself, what can you do to make it better? Just take that pause and say, okay, what can I do? One thing I want to highlight is there's an app that I recently found that does really, I thought it helps, and I tell everybody about it. Let's Meditate. It's called Let's Meditate. It's free. You can download this app. They have various different types of meditation walks. So they walk you through situations. Some are like 9 minutes, 5 minutes. The shortest one I've seen is 5 minutes. They even have stuff for sleeping if you have problems sleeping. So the apps, a meditation app. It's called
You
Let's.
know, what I find really fascinating about this,
You can see it.
very cool.
It's a great app. I use it. I tell people to use it.
So what I find fascinating about this is that for my own mental health issues, through my anxiety and PTSD, I also found meditation, but I found it from a very, very different angle than you did. And it's very, I think it's a great example of you do you and find what works for you. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I am not a spiritual person. But like you, I do my research and I like to do my research. So when I first was struggling with my anxiety, I did research on different tools, different methods, and I was looking into meditation. And I actually found a study, because I'm not the type to meditate spiritually, but I found a study that showed that mindful meditation over the course of 8 weeks physically changed the shape of a person's brain and
Okay.
strengthens the area around the amygdala, because the amygdala is what's responsible for anxiety in an overactive amygdala. So what happens is it actually strengthens the area of the brain around the amygdala, protecting the rest of the brain against it. So it's amazing. So for you, you're a spiritual person and you found anxiety through a group session in a spiritual way, and that helped you. And I found meditation through a non-spiritual way, doing it always completely on my own, and it worked for me.
Funny thing
And,
is, I don't do it on my own.
what's that?
Funny thing is, I don't do it on my own.
No, but I think that
Be because I need that stillness because I'm too much. Since we're talking about mental health, I can openly say this, whereas maybe before I may have hesitate to say, but because I'm doing, I think I keep myself too busy to the point where I'm just on the go, 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 and my mind doesn't stop.
yeah, so it's something to consider, maybe finding your own personal meditation practice. When I first started meditating, one of my favorite quotes I read was, "Everybody should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless you're too busy. Then it should be an hour."
So here's what I want to add, right? Like, okay, so baby steps. There's no way you can do 20 minutes meditation.
Oh,
No
not
way.
to start.
Done it, right? So I
Not to start.
think
No.
people will give up fast. 20 minutes. Let me sit and let me do it. That's like doing a workout, right? If you say, I'm going to do 1 hour and you've never worked out or you haven't worked out in a long time, there's no way you can do 1 hour.
Yeah.
Aim for baby steps. So maybe aim to do 5 minutes. And meditation, I think some people, a lot of times we don't understand what it is. It can be simple as close your eyes and take long, deep breaths in and out, and that's it. And start with that. And I want to add is food. I looked into this last year because of depression, anxiety,
Mhm.
and just grieving process. I started looking into food. Everyone would be amazed to know how food can actually change your mood. So pay attention to what you're eating. There's a lot, like I'm not gonna sit here and remember everything, but there's certain foods that actually really helps through anxiety, change your mood, your energy. And one thing I've recently learned is sugar is the worst for you,
But it's so
which I
tasty.
think we all know,
But
but
it's so tasty.
we eat it. When I went on the 7 day of no sugar, sugar free, and no carb, I shouldn't say carb, but like flour and stuff like that. I started doing no sugar and low carb. That 7 day, I think I was probably the best energy. I felt I didn't feel tired. I wasn't yawning. And then my birthday came, and then I had sugar, and then I kind of couldn't go back as I started slugging off. But food is, I would say, you gotta the food also helps. So I know a lot of us might be feeling anxiety, and some like me, I like having comfort food, but food's not the solution because it's not gonna help. It's not gonna make you feel better. It might
Yeah.
even make you more tired if you're gonna resort to comfort food. So I think just Google what to eat. Happy foods. I don't know. I forgot what I did. Like, yeah, food. What food I should be eating if I'm feeling anxiety and depressed. You'll be surprised to find, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably even have it in your cabinets right now. And you'll be amazed to find out like how just eating maybe avocado a day can elevate your energy. Or oats are good as well. Tuna actually I learned from one of my clients. Had a speaker come in on food. They did a whole segment on food, what to eat, when to eat. Turkey. Sorry, not tuna. Turkey. Turkey is a happy meal. Like
Okay.
makes you happy. So load up on turkey. Salmon is good too. So actually, I learned stuff in that one workshop that one of my clients did for their
Oh,
employees.
nice.
Since I was on site, they say, "Hey, you want to sit in?" I'm
Cool.
like, sure.
Very
I
cool.
would love to. Turkey. That's the first time I think I heard where someone said eat a lot of turkey because it helps stimulates your mood, changes your mood.
Interesting.
So food,
Interesting. Cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
This is probably one we'll revisit at some point. Talk more about mental health because there is a lot more to talk
yeah.
about.
I didn't even realize the time. So we're just gonna quickly sum up some tips that we shared, and we'll just give a little bit of a tip. So, Gil, how about you summarize your top 3 tips?
Okay. So find what's right for you. Be aware of your own triggers. I know for me, when I limited my news intake to once per day, that helped me a lot with my mental health. It wasn't like the news was changing my behavior or anything. I was staying home and doing all the right things anyway. So I check in with the news once a day. So that helped me. Finding meditation, starting very small, knowing that your mind will wander. That's a part of the process, not a frustration or a bad thing. It's a part of the process. Trying to find exercise. The food point is an extremely important one that just now is not the time to just be eating pints and pints of ice cream as much as we would all like to. And find somebody to talk to. If you're finding this stress, this anxiety, depression is getting to you, finding somebody to talk to who can uplift you. Like I have cookies.
Yeah, great. I'm just gonna add one thing because you covered it all. I'm just gonna say something I forgot to mention. Gratitude. So practice gratitude. It's actually something I started doing when my dad died. I was every night I will basically list everything I'm thankful for. It does work. If
I could
anybody,
do a full half hour on gratitude if you want at some point. You raise a really important point, and that is one that has helped me significantly.
yeah, maybe we should. So we already have so many topics lined up for this week. We will be covering. I think we're gonna do a whole segment on gender.
Mm-hmm.
Gender relationships and shifts right now, maybe due to remote work, and we'll keep you guys posted. So tune in tomorrow, same time. Yes, sorry, I did out for a second because I have something. There will be so tune in tomorrow at 12:30 for GNG segment. This is Gil and Gurpreet collaboration to help as many organizations and everybody that's listening to this to get through COVID-19. Together we are doing it. So I'm not even gonna say together we can make it. We're already making it. Well, we're already together and we're taking it step by step, day by day. So tune in every day, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time to the LinkedIn live session. If you have any suggestions, comments, topics for us to cover, reach out. You can reach out to Gil directly on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and let us know. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
So